There's this radio talk show host by the name of Celeste Headley. She once said, a good conversation is like a miniskirt. It's short enough to keep you interested, but just long enough to cover the subject. Hi, my name is Matt Marshall. I'm with the Management 110 Thursday 5 o'clock lab. It is my career goal one day to be some sort of business owner. And recently I've taken the Cooters and Iliad's assessment to help me in my career path. These assessments have informed me that in order to be successful down this road, I have opportunities to grow in my communication skills. Specifically, I have room to grow with openness when it comes to listening and keeping my messages clear, concise, and simplified. Talking about openness when it comes to listening, typically we like to hear ourselves talk, and we want to be the main part of the conversation. This leads us to listen in order to formulate a response, instead of listening to understand what the actual message is. Once a response has been formulated, we immediately will just sit there and wait for the other person's mouth to close, so that way we can belt out our response. And that's not communication. That's just two people sitting down in a room and just yelling at each other. Being open doesn't mean listening to respond. It means listening to actually understand. I need to be aware of several natural tendencies that we all have. Sometimes we'd rather just listen in order to evaluate or judge the other person's opinions. Sometimes we listen to advise the other person so that way we can put ourselves on a higher pedestal. Sometimes we will filter their message in order just to hear what we want to hear. These are all tendencies that can lead to more emotional and irrational conversations. I need to be sure that I'm listening to seek understanding and avoid these natural tendencies. And when it comes to my turn to talk, I need to keep my messages clear and simple. Business owners talk with accountants, artists, designers, scientists, all these different kinds of people. And it's my responsibility to communicate with all these different people in a way that creates a mutual understanding. I need to make sure I don't say too little or don't talk too much. I need to try to convey a message in as few words as possible. Say what you want clearly and directly. If I ramble on, I'll either lose the listener or they'll be unsure of exactly what I'm trying to say. Einstein once said, "Make everything as simple as possible, but no simpler." You can clearly communicate your message without compromising your ideas. And it's not the same as dumbing it down. It just means translating your message into something your audience understands. So, as far as my career path, these are the things that I have rooms for growth for. Openness when listening, clarifying and simplifying my messages when I'm speaking. In order to improve my listening skills, I believe taking notes is a great way to do that and to keep my mind open and to pay attention to the message. Humans think at a rate of about 450 words per minute, and we actually only speak at about 150 words per minute. So that means our minds have a lot of free time to wander and to fall into those natural tendencies of judging and evaluating. So I believe taking notes will occupy me enough to close that gap of the thinking and speaking and to keep myself intrigued and involved and seek understanding in the message. When it comes to actually speaking and conveying my own messages, I'm going to make sure I listen and read my own messages beforehand. Each message needs to be tailored towards a specific audience. It needs to be free of unnecessary buzzwords and jargon that may not translate appropriately to the audience. The messages need to be looked at from your audience's perspective. If they won't understand your jargon, it needs to be simplified and clarified. I need to convey my messages like a miniskirt, short enough to keep them interested, but long enough just to cover the message.